Well, so here we are. Cars gonna go past, get a lot of noise. Um, this is one of the things I really like about Sweden is that there's a lot of nature and it's really close by, especially here in Uppsala. It gives me an opportunity to just hop on a motorcycle and then just go. So I thought I'd walk and talk a little bit and just share a little bit about some things. Uh, yeah, so I'm trying to inform people about what it's like to be African American in Sweden and Christian, what it's like to plant a multicultural church. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of stuff going into these videos here. Um, when I first moved to Sweden, I was living up in the north in Skellefteå, and at that time, I think people were just shocked to see a black person. That's my impression of it. People would just drive past and they would just, you know, that kind of thing. And so it was really frustrating because I hadn't really had much of that. I mean, yeah, a lot of racism and people calling you the N word and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, but not like it was when I moved to Sweden. So that was one of the first things I had to learn how to deal with. Um, Most people don't say things to your face most of the time. They do, but not most of the time. Um, so I'm walking right near the water here, and there's these flowers. I can't pick them because they're protected, so I have to go down so that you can see them. So there. Uh, yeah, I wish I'll have to just take a picture and show it to you later. Uh, so yeah, and for Americans moving here, so say like if you were going to become a prayer partner or a financial or a financial partner with us, and you wanted to send a team over to talk to people about Jesus, maybe help us with a project or something that we have at the church. There's all kinds of different things. Maybe do a camp for confirmation. Uh, One of the things that you have to know is that it's not America or some other place. It's Sweden. And here people are quite reserved. As you can see, the nature all around me is just to die for. You know, it is clean, it's safe. There's nothing that can kill you in Sweden. No animal. We don't have people aren't killed by animals or poisonous snakes or things like that. There is a type of poisonous snake here called a hugorm, and its mouth is so tiny it can't bite you. It can't. I don't know of anyone who's ever died of it, but that's about the most dangerous animal here in Sweden. So kind of funny, huh? Compared to California where I grew up, where we have tons of rattlesnakes and things like that. Um, but one of the challenges was that because I grew up in Oakland, I grew up kind of in the hood, not exactly. I grew up in North Oakland mostly, and one of the things was that I didn't know there were mission organizations. Didn't know anything about missions. We never talked about foreign missions at church or anything like that. I grew up in a traditional, predominantly African American gospel church like that, and so it was just that people would, we talked about Jesus. We talked about how important it was for people to know about Him and to be welcome and open and everything. But at the same time, we weren't really talking a lot about missions, about foreign mission. Uh, so now someone's coming and they say, hey. So that's something that's kind of Swedish too. You pass by people, you don't have to say anything, but if you want to be friendly, you can. Uh, so, um, and so that's one of those things, that um, I didn't know that there were mission organizations that you could go to that could help you out or get you established or anything. Never remember any foreign missionary that came to my church when I was growing up, or anything like that. So I never knew there were Christian organizations. Never heard about YWAM or Young Life or anything like that. YWAM I got introduced to a little bit right before I moved here. Some people who were YWAMers back in Colorado, but not in California. So yeah, so that's kind of the thing. Hey. So yeah, so I just moved here with my family, and then decided that okay, well that's, God will provide or everything. And here I am 25 years later, and wishing that I knew about mission organizations. Wish I knew there were other, because you can't do everything on your own. And especially when you finally figure out that it's church planting and creating communities that are multicultural, that are open, that are welcoming, not as sort of a closed community where people are only concerned about themselves and their own salvation, but a place where people would ask questions, and a place where you can grow in faith, a place where you can bring your friends, and not because the message was necessarily seeker-oriented, but because the message was actually being, nay! Okay, so as I'm making this video, here's one of my friends. Her name is Natalie. You can you? Nej, men jag kan inte pausa det.
Vadå kan inte pausa den?
För jag gör det. Jag ska lägga ut på YouTube snart.
Man kan pausa den.
Nej, det kan jag inte pausa. Okay, so here I am again. I had to take the break because a lot of the young people that I've had a chance to minister to throughout the years, most of them are adults now, and so I ran into one of the former youth at the church, and it was just good to say hi to them and to be thankful to God for that ability to make these connections and stuff like that. Now remember, if you come here with a team or anything, people are reserved and stuff like that, but you can still make connections, and Americans do pretty well in Sweden. I usually tell most Americans that if you want to live in Sweden, it's going to take a couple of years. It takes time, especially if you're an adult when you move here, to learn the language. It takes time to build up those relationships and stuff like that. So this is a country that actually really, really functions on relationships and on building those kind of connections with people, because they're pretty important. So you could survive here speaking only English. Most Swedes, especially in the larger cities, understand enough English, speak enough English, not a problem. But if you really want to be able to speak to people, you're going to have to learn how to speak Swedish. And that's kind of the thing. So when God called me here, I'm a unique person in that I'm African American, ordained in the Church of Sweden. I don't know of any other African Americans like that. Don't know of that many African Americans that I hear. And besides the whole thing with gospel music, there's also the whole aspect of I've been living here for 25 years. I speak the language. I know the culture. I know how to relate to people here in a positive kind of way, so that I'm uniquely set up for mission work. And growing up in the African American church, no one ever came. I don't know of any missionaries that came from the 1040 window or anything like that ever came to our church and talked to us about foreign missions. So I just moved here and have been in Sweden. And now looking back, I'm wishing I had that experience, but I didn't have it. So, and that's one of the reasons for doing this videos also, is to give people an idea of what would they be investing in prayer, in time, in finances to support what we're doing here in Sweden. We're one of the most secularized countries in the world. And to give you an idea, I think it's still about 45% of the people go to church on a Sunday in the States. So you're walking down the street, and out of 10 people, 4 of them would have gone to church. In Sweden, you're walking about after the 23rd person, you might have found someone to go to church. And that number is always going down. The population goes up, but the number of people who are actually becoming believers and becoming active members in a congregation is actually pretty low. So that's kind of the thing here. And so you're investing in its long-term missions. We don't really do a lot of campaigns. I don't think they work that well. Going in the middle of town and screaming at people and telling them crazy stuff, that works in some places. It's not that effective here. If you really want to do effective evangelism, if you really want to do effective missions, if you really want to make a difference in people's lives here, then I believe that you build a relationship with people. You live consistent as a Christian in front of them. You don't hide your faith. You don't go around and you know, like ashamed of your faith or anything. You live it out and you look for opportunities to bless people. As you live in front of people, they see your consistency. God is working their heart. He'll ask the question. So that's what's been working for me. That's what I think is effective. That's what I train people and will try to help people to. You can do all the other stuff, short stuff. We walk out, someone says, "Hey, I want to be a Christian." It's just, in my experience, that doesn't happen very often. What happens is that you've known a person for several years, and that person becomes Christian. So if there's a mission organization out there who would love to invest in what we're doing, contact me. Let me know. I don't know how that stuff works. I'm here in Sweden, but it would be really interesting to figure out how do we partner with other Christians and other churches. There's opportunities for us to do missions in other countries. Sweden is a very international country. There's people from all over the world that come here. So, yeah, because I believe the Great Commission is actually something that every Christian should be involved in. Every Christian. I believe it's something that every Christian community should be involved in some way. It's helping to support the Great Commission. Jesus said that, you know, after he had gathered his disciples, he said, I have all power in heaven and earth. Therefore, you're going to go out and, and make disciples and baptize them and teach them all the things I've told you. And that's really what the church planting and the whole missions and gospel music and everything. It's an opportunity to share the gospel, opportunity to help people to connect, come to know God, and to experience that, to grow in that within community, but also to be equipped, to be empowered, to also become a person who becomes a disciple maker. So that's the whole thing, for today at least. Obviously, I'll be posting again tomorrow. Keep watching. Keep asking questions about life here in Sweden, about what it is that we're doing, and how you can help and how you can pray, right? So I'll just end in a quick prayer, a quick blessing actually. May the Lord God bless you and keep you, and may He watch over you, may He protect you, may He lead and guide you. May God let you feel His presence. May He lead you to His peace. May He lead you to His joy, and may He fill you in an abundant way in your life so that you will be a blessing to others. May the Lord God give you His shalom, His peace. Be blessed, everyone. Thanks for watching this video. Please leave your comments, ask your questions. I will address them as they show up. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.